Alright, so first question. Who are you?
Who am I? That's a good question. My name is Kyle Langlois. I'm from Western Mass. I'm a singer-songwriter and a recent graduate of Berkeley. Biggest influences? It's definitely a tough question because I always like to say I have a bunch of different influences based off of the things that I like to do. So songwriting, I have a lot of influences in Simon and Garfunkel, James Taylor, Avi Kaplan, the Beatles, so many more. Singing, Frank Sinatra, Freddie Mercury, Ariana Grande, Beyonce, so many names, and I could go on and on about different influences for like guitar playing and performing and showmanship, but those are probably the biggest names I would say. Who am I listening to? A whole bunch of different artists. I always had a very eclectic taste in music growing up, so I got a lot of classic rock and roll from my father, so listened to a lot of Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, and all those guys like Led Zeppelin. And then obviously today's pop I love listening to, like I love The Weeknd, I love Lady Gaga, of course, coming out with her new album. And then just, all of the, I call them the sad folk artists, again, like the James Taylors, the Avi Kaplans, the Tyler Ramseys, Simon and Garfunkel, people like that.
Cool.
That is a tricky question. If I was an instrument, what instrument would I be? I always like to say that my sound is like, I always like to say my sound is very unique just because, I write a lot of songs that sort of fit who I am, if that makes sense. So like I really try to write songs that fit my vocal style and my voice type even. So, I guess like a really low-pitched, unique instrument. I don't know, I play the bass clarinet, so we could say bass clarinet.
That's a good one.
How's that, yeah?
That's a good one, bass clarinet.
I think a couple dream venues, I've always dreamt of, obviously performing in the big stadiums and, doing shows like that, but, really just smaller, intimate gigs, I find, sometimes even better, just because you can kind of connect with people a little bit more, so I don't know, maybe doing like some sort of dive bar tour or, across the country or something like that. My favorite memory of performing. I've been extremely lucky to have a lot of really cool performances. I think one of the best ones that I can remember recently, I wasn't even, performing just myself or my own music, but I was in a group when I was at Berkeley called Point of Departure, and it was my first semester in the winter time, right before I went to go study abroad, and we had our winter concert in the loft over at 921, and it was just so amazing because it's primarily a vocal jazz group, and that's something I've never really done before, but with the help of all of the, incredible people in that group, they were able to, really help me out and sort of, show me the ropes on how vocal jazz is supposed to sound and supposed to be performed and everything. So by the time we were ready for our concert, everything just clicked, and it really felt like a really close-knit family.
Oh, awesome, man. Would you say that performing like vocal jazz and doing something a little bit different like that has influenced like some of the stuff you've been writing, like?
Yeah,
personally?
absolutely. I think the vocal jazz group and really all of the different things that I've gotten involved in school and across my life has impacted my music in a big way. Probably not in large and obvious ways, but definitely maybe harmonizing a chord or the melody in a certain way that might not be totally cliche or thought of on the first go around.
What song would you say defined your middle school years?
Ooh, my middle school years, I would probably say a song called Black or White by Michael Jackson, because I performed that song when I was in, I think, 5th grade for our talent show. and the guitar I was playing was bigger than me. Um, and it was really like my first time playing and singing in front of, you know, a large crowd of, you know, all the kids' parents and everything, and it was just a lot of fun. And I really knew that, you know, really from there, performing in some aspect was definitely going to be what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Creative process for me includes time and patience. You know, it's super important to just, you know, of course, give your art and your craft, you know, your time and devotion, but there comes a point when, you know, if you're not getting anywhere or you feel like you're in a rut or something, you just gotta have the patience for it, and hopefully it'll come. So I would definitely say those two things. And then another I would definitely say is collaboration. It's always a good idea to ask your friends or ask your family to take a listen to something, get a second opinion, because you might feel like, you know, you know, are so close, but you need something else, and just getting it alone is not going to happen. Well, sometimes that finishing puzzle piece can be found just, you know, a few people away. So,
What song are you most excited to perform tonight?
I think the song I'm most excited to perform is probably "Higher Than the Mountain," which is actually going to be the last song in my set. That song was extremely important to me. Well, it still is important to me, but when I wrote it specifically, it was super important because I was at a very low point, you know, mentally, and you know, things were just kind of happening as they do, and the song almost wrote itself. I like to think, because, you know, the words started, you know, coming out, and then, you know, you just kind of put the chords to it, and I had the song relatively quickly. And, you know, I've played it in every show that I've done since, just to remind myself, you know, of the message of the song. You know, you're higher than the mountain, and, you know, don't doubt yourself, everything will be okay.
What is your favorite tree?
My favorite tree is the Eastern Pine. Funny enough, I have a tattoo of an Eastern Pine right here.
Awesome.
So I got this tree because I really like nature. I go to nature whenever, you know, I need like a meditative moment. I need to just kind of get away from everything. Of course, being here in the city is really fun. I'm a city guy myself, but being in nature, especially growing up in Western Mass with, you know, all the trees and everything around me constantly, is just beautiful. So I definitely wanted to get something that symbolizes where I came from, where I have my roots and everything. And also, the Eastern Pine is just the most ubiquitous tree in Massachusetts, so it kind of symbolizes, you know, I'll always be here in Massachusetts, you know, no matter where I am in the world.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We are totally nature lovers here as well.
Absolutely.
So. Do you have a pre-show ritual?
Pre-show ritual. I mean, it's not really anything special. You know, it's just drink water. I always, you know, just fill up before, just because, you know, you can never be too safe. I always just kind of, you know, look around at the crowd. I just kind of see how everyone's doing, how everyone's feeling, and I kind of just get into the moment. You know, I'm not a big person to just kind of like hype myself up or anything. It really is a balance for me between the artist performing and the audience listening. So I sort of play off of that energy instead of kind of going into it, you know, like, and the audience is not really expecting, you know, full force.
That's cool. So would you say that like the audience is like just as important of like kind of a factor to like a live performance to like the
Absolutely.
artist?
Absolutely.
And, like,
I think the audience is pretty much, I think it's equal to the artist, because, you know, the artist is there to provide the music and to make sure the audience has a good time. You know, I always like to say that if you're not happy performing, then the audience isn't going to be happy listening to you. So, and it's, you know, it's the same exact way reverse. You know, if the audience isn't happy and, you know, maybe not responding or anything, or not feeling the way that you wanted them to feel, then, you know, you're going to be playing for a couple hours and just not really dig it, you know? So I think it's definitely a big balance and of energy between the audience and the artist.
So, do you have anything in the works right now, like any songs that you're going to be releasing soon that you'd like to let the people back home know about?
Yeah, so all of the songs in this set are original songs or original compositions. I haven't released any of them quite yet, but I am looking to do that in the near future. I do know with some of the projects I'll be getting into in like later 2021, even into 2022, I will be hopefully releasing music. It might not be these songs, but it will be music. But definitely stay tuned because I think something's on the way. Yeah, I mean, I want to give obviously a shout out to my my family who just always supports me and everything that I do. They are some of the best parents and family that I could ever ask for. I have 3 little birds as well at home, so shout out to them, Gelato, Maestro, and Nico. Loves of my life, I gotta say. And then just, of course, everyone, everyone here at Hug the Tree for making this possible. You guys are like so cool, supporting artists and different organizations in Boston, even throughout this whole pandemic. I mean, the world's been turned upside down and you guys are still rocking it. So I really appreciate you guys.
Dude, thank you, man. We appreciate having you here. Like, we're super excited.
Of course, thank you.
Also, the introduction.
Hey, my name is Kyle Langlois and you're watching Hug the Tree.